Revealed, Millionaire's heartbroken transformation after discovering pregnant ex begging for help. Ryan sat in his sleek, modern kitchen, surrounded by walls adorned with smart screens flashing news from the tech world. To anyone peering through the window, he embodied success, the quintessential entrepreneur. Yet, as he scrolled through social media, his heart sank. A post from Emily, his high school sweetheart, pierced his carefully constructed facade. Her words, soaked in despair, screamed for help. Pregnant and homeless, she had turned to their old community for assistance. The weight of guilt crashed over him like a tidal wave. He read her plea again and again, each phrase sinking deeper into his conscience. Memories flooded back, laughter shared on summer nights, dreams built on endless possibilities. Back then, they believed they could conquer the world together. But life had other plans, ambition pulled them in separate directions, and now, here he was, living a life that felt increasingly hollow. As he paced the kitchen, the sharp, sterile smell of his tech-saturated home felt suffocating. Ryan wrestled with his conscience. Should he reach out to Emily, upsetting the delicate balance he maintained in his life? Or should he stay detached, continuing to bask in his manufactured success? The voices around him, the affluent friends advocating for appearances and status, buzzed like annoying flies. But this wasn't just about him. He remembered how they had fought, how he had walked away when things got tough. The thought of her doing this alone gnawed at him. Against all odds, Ryan decided to reach out. The next day, he found himself sitting across from Emily in a dimly lit coffee shop, tension thick in the air. Her eyes were red-rimmed and glassy, while his heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of feeling. They were both older and beaten down by life, yet the connection felt electric, as if no time had passed. The weight of unspoken regrets was palpable. She shared her struggles, words tumbling out as tears streamed down her cheeks, a stark contrast to his polished, curated life. Ryan felt his heart crack wide open with each painful share. Life isn't fair, Ryan. You have everything, and I'm here in this mess, she cried, voice cracking. She held his gaze, expecting judgment, but he felt a deep longing to help. He wanted to wrap her in warmth and connection, to shield her from the icy grip of the world outside. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the hours passed, they began to share laughter amid the sorrow, moments of light that stood out like precious gems in the dark. But beneath those flickers of hope lay an emotional whirlwind. Ryan realized he was ready to sacrifice his comfortable life for a chance at something real. He could feel the walls he'd built around his heart beginning to crumble. What had once been a simple connection now felt like a powerful force, begging for him to lean in. Yet with every new plan they hatched, doubt loomed larger. Could they really bridge the chasm created by their diverging paths? Could their love withstand the stark realities they faced? He drew in a deep breath, the air thick with unspoken possibilities, a moment fraught with a decision that could change everything. Would he have the courage to redefine his American dream? As the weight of uncertainty held them both hostage, an unasked question hung in the air: was he truly ready to be the man Emily needed? The coffee shop hummed softly, but to Ryan, it felt like a world suspended in time. His thoughts raced, battling between the comfort of his life and the uncertainty of stepping back into Emily's chaos. The flicker of candles cast dancing shadows on the wall, mirroring the tumult of his emotions. Ryan. Emily's voice was a whisper, fragile but steady. What are we doing here? He looked into her eyes, seeing her pain reflected back at him. It was a mirror, showing every moment he had chosen ambition over connection, and every time he had turned his back when she needed him the most. I want to help you, he finally said, the words slipping out before he could second-guess himself. Whatever that looks like. Her brow furrowed, uncertainty mingling with hope. Help? You mean like, what? Money? A place to stay? No, he shook his head, determination mixed with vulnerability. I mean together. I can't just throw cash at it and walk away. I want to be there for you for the baby. His commitment hung heavy in the air, stitching together the frayed ends of their past, binding them in a moment where chaos could transform into something new. Emily's gaze softened. The tears still lingered, but so did the essence of forgiveness, a bridge renewed. I don't want to pull you down, Ryan. Her voice trembled, a mixture of pride and fear. You've built this life. What if I just ruin it? You won't ruin anything, he said fiercely. If anything, you're showing me what really matters. He felt a weight lift. They weren't only two broken pieces of their former selves, they could be something more. I don't even know where to start, Emily admitted, wiping tears away with a shaky hand. Let us find a way, he encouraged, yearning for the rush of taking their first step together. First things first, we need a plan. We can figure it out, one step at a time. The more they spoke, the clearer it became that they were redefining their intertwined futures. They talked about shelters, resources, and the steps to get Emily back on her feet. Each idea sparked new hope. Laughter returned as they playfully drafted outrageous plans. Emily imagined a world where they could turn the past into their future. As that evening wrapped around them like a warm embrace, Ryan felt something shift inside him. The very air seemed to vibrate with possibility. But as the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a doubt crept in. Could they truly face the challenges ahead? What if the universe had set them on this path only to tear them apart again? Ryan, Emily's hesitant voice cut through his thoughts, what if this doesn't work? What if I fail? Then we'll figure it out together, he said, meeting her eyes with solid resolve. I'll be here. But deep down, Ryan wrestled with an unsettling feeling. Was he truly capable of facing the storm that loomed? His heart raced with the fear of failure, yet the pulse of hope tethered him tightly to Emily. As they left the cafe, the cool night air hit them, a haunting reminder of the world outside their little bubble. Would they truly find a way out of their tangled past, or was this a dream that would slip away like sand through fingers? With every step they took, the question lingered, looming like a shadow, ever present: was their love strong enough for the battles ahead? The streets were alive with the sounds of the city, cars honking and people laughing, but all Ryan could hear was the soft thrumming of Emily's heartbeat beside him. It was rhythmic, like a promise. Each step they took felt heavier yet liberated. The weight of their reality pressed down on him, but guiding him through was Emily's determination shining through her fear. Do you really think we can do this? She asked, glancing up at him as they approached the park. Her eyes were searching, like she was trying to read him or perhaps convince herself. I know we can, he said, the conviction in his voice surprising even him. No more pretending. We'll be honest with ourselves and each other. That's where we start. They paused near a bench, the moon peeking through the clouds, casting a silvery glow over them. Emily sat first, her fingers brushing the cold metal, and Ryan followed, the chill seeping through his clothes but failing to touch his heart. Okay, she began, exhaling slowly. What about my mom? She's been in and out of my life for years, and I don't know if she would even care. Ryan reached for her hand, feeling the warmth of it engulf his. Whether she cares or not, we don't have to face this alone. You have me. We can find support groups for new mothers, a community. Everyone needs help sometimes. What if this baby? Her voice cracked, filled with vulnerability. What if I'm not? What if I fail as a mom? Ryan squeezed her hand, willing his strength into her. Emily, failure is part of any journey. The important thing is to keep trying. It's what we do together that matters. She looked at him, a flicker of hope dancing in her eyes. Do you mean that? You really want to be here? More than anything. The sincerity in his voice cut through the night like a beacon. A small smile broke through, illuminating her features. Maybe we can take this one day at a time. Exactly, he replied, feeling the edge of his own fear soften. We'll build a life for this baby. We can create a home filled with love. We just need to lay the groundwork now. The warmth expanded in his chest as they crafted a future that felt tangible, the edges of their past slowly receding, making way for something new. Their laughter returned, filling the quiet space between them like a sweet balm, a simple melody of hope against the daunting silence of their fears. But as they began to outline their goals, how to find a safe place to stay, and the resources they needed, Ryan's phone buzzed in his pocket, jarring him back to reality. He hesitated, looking at the screen briefly. His boss. Is it bad? Emily asked, noticing his change in demeanor. He didn't want to answer. The world outside was calling him back, his responsibilities pulling against the promise they were weaving together. It's work, they need me to come in early. What do you want to do? She asked, her eyes narrowing slightly, as if watching him weigh the importance of a phone call against the moment they were sharing. Ryan sighed, knowing that he had to choose. He could walk away from Emily, return to his meticulously constructed life and the endless demands of his job, or he could stay where his heart was leading him. Let me just take this call, he said reluctantly, the words feeling like an anchor holding him in two places. As he stepped away, a chill ran through him, not from the cool night air but from the weight of the decision he was about to make. Would he choose responsibility or rekindle the love he once thought lost? When he turned back, he found Emily still seated, determination etched into her features. Yet, there was an unmistakable shadow of doubt. Was he ready to embrace this new life together? The stakes were high, the tension thickened, and with that, Ryan realized something crucial: he couldn't turn back now. But what if the call from work changed everything? He didn't know if he could keep both worlds intact. As he pressed the phone against his ear, unsure of the future, one question loomed larger than any he had faced before: was he willing to let go of his past for a chance at something beautiful? The voice on the other end of the line was sharp, cutting through the stillness of the park like a knife. Ryan could hear the urgency in his boss's tone, the pressure boiling over. Ryan, we need you to come in right now. It's important. You're the only one who can handle this. He glanced back at Emily, who had her gaze stuck on the ground. The play of moonlight on her features revealed the tension around her mouth, the uncertainty in her eyes. Every instinct told him to hang up and run back to her, to hold her and promise her everything would be okay. Instead, he was trapped, juggling an impossible choice. Okay, he faltered. I'll be there in a bit. The words felt heavy on his tongue, as though they were sealing a fate he hadn't wanted. He hung up, the buzzing silence in his ears drowning out the park sounds. Emily looked up, and for a moment, the world around them faded. What did they say? There was a tightness in her voice that betrayed her own fears. They need me to come in, he replied, his heart sinking. But, it's not a big deal. I can just tell them I'll be late. I want to stay here with you, Emily. But what if this is important? You have a job that relies on you, she said, a hint of worry creeping into her expression. What if don't? He cut her off gently but firmly. What ifs don't matter right now. What matters is us and this baby. She nodded, but the doubt lingered in her eyes, a storm brewing beneath the surface. It's just, what if it doesn't work out? What if we fail? It's not failing if we're trying, Ryan insisted. He pulled her closer, intertwining their fingers again. We're building something real here. And yes, there will be challenges. But I need you to trust me. As he spoke, Ryan couldn't help but wonder if he was filling the silence with empty promises. The thought made his heart race. What if their dreams crumbled like a house of cards? What if he wasn't enough? But then he felt it, the warmth of Emily's hand, the pulse of life they were creating together, and it anchored him. We've got each other. That's our strongest foundation. I want to believe that, she whispered, glimpsing the tenderness of hope mixed with fear. Ryan forced a smile. Then let us start believing it. Let us find a place to stay after I get off work. We can look at baby stuff, or even just grab a coffee. Something light and fun. We need it. Emily's gaze softened, the weight on her shoulders lightening just a fraction. Okay, coffee sounds nice. In the back of his mind, Ryan still felt the pressing urgency of his job. Maybe it was just as big of a deal as they had made it out to be. Yet, a part of him longed to cancel. Life didn't fit into neat boxes anymore, and a part of him didn't want to play that part anymore. He wanted to lean into this raw, beautiful chaos they were creating. Let me text my boss, he said, feeling like he was breaking free from chains. His fingers fumbled with the screen as he typed, his heart racing with each letter. He hit send, the reply almost immediate. Ryan? Emily's voice drew him back, grounding him. What did you say? I told him I'm going to be late. But I'm not just late for work. I'm late to create a future, he replied, locking eyes with her. For a moment, the world felt just right. But then an incoming notification jolted him back to reality. It was another message. I'll give you one chance to reconsider you're risking your career for this. Shadows clouded his thoughts. Was he? Emily noticed his shift. What is it? It's my boss again, Ryan said, a wave of anxiety washing over him. What if he paused, but his heart begged him to finish? What if it's a mistake? Maybe it's a risk worth taking, she said softly, and something in her tone ignited hope within him. Ryan took a deep breath, letting the cold night air fill his lungs, clearing his mind even if just a little. I can't go back to how things were. I can't. Just as resolve firmed inside him, he felt the ground shift beneath their feet once more. A family approaching from behind caught his eye. Laughter floated through the night like music. They were so carefree, so happy. In that moment, Ryan found perspective. What if this really is our moment, Emily? He asked quietly. Our chance. But the uncertainty still hung in the air, thick and heavy, and as they both looked toward the vibrant world bustling around them, another question lingered under the surface: how far were they willing to go for the life they dreamed of? Ryan's phone vibrated again, jolting him back to reality. He glanced down at the glowing screen, his boss's name staring back at him like a silent accusation. Anxiety sparked in his stomach. Emily watched him closely, her brows knitted, waiting for his response. Should I answer it? He asked, frustration coloring his tone. No, she said softly, not if you don't want to. He weighed her words, feeling the tension in the air, the weight of expectation, fear, and the promise of something new. The laughter of the family passing by mingled with the distant sounds of the city, reminding him how life kept moving forward regardless of his inner turmoil. I'm not going to let this define us, Ryan stated firmly, forcing confidence into his voice. I'm all in. For us. Emily smiled, but he could see the flicker of doubt in her eyes. What does that mean for your job? It means that I'll figure it out later. Right now, being here with you is what matters, he replied, his heart racing as he said it. She inhaled deeply, almost like she was absorbing his resolve. Okay, she finally said, her voice steadier. If we're going to do this, let us do it together. Ryan felt a wave of relief wash over him. He needed her support more than anything. Then let us go for that coffee and start dreaming. We'll find that perfect place for us and the baby. He wanted to believe in that future so deeply. They began walking down the path, hand in hand. Each step felt lighter, the shadows of uncertainty slowly fading. The city sparkled under the moonlight, the busy streets alive with the hum of life, but for Ryan, the only thing that mattered was Emily. She was his compass. As they made their way into a small cafe, the scent of freshly brewed coffee enveloped them, mingling with the sweetness of pastries behind the counter. It felt comforting and normal, a brief escape from the chaos of their lives. "2 coffees, please," he called out, feeling buoyed by the moment. Emily perched on a stool, her fingers tapping nervously against the counter. He handed her a steaming cup, and she took a sip, closing her eyes in bliss. "This is what we need," she said, that flicker of hope returning to her eyes. "Just us. No distractions." Ryan smirked as he watched her. "You're right. Just us, and our little dream." Then he noticed, across the cafe, an open laptop on a table occupied by a woman furiously typing. Ryan couldn't help but feel a pang of envy. She seemed so engrossed in her work, so focused. A stark contrast to his own precarious situation. What if I can't juggle this job and being a good father? The question slipped into his mind unwelcome. "Earth to Ryan." Emily waved a hand in front of him, pulling him back to the moment. "Sorry, just lost in thought. You know, I want to give you both everything." He took a deep breath, letting the moment ground him. "Don't worry. We're on this journey together, right?" She replied, her voice soothing. He smiled back, reassured. "Yeah, together." But just as they settled into their cozy bubble, Ryan's phone buzzed again, breaking through the warmth he held onto. This time, the message read, "I need a decision by the end of the day. Don't make me pull strings." His heart dropped. "What's wrong?" Emily asked, sensing his sudden shift. Ryan clenched his jaw, torn between loyalty to his job and the life he wanted with her. What would he sacrifice? The weight of it all threatened to crush him. "Nothing I can't handle," he lied, forcing a smile. But as he looked into Emily's eyes, that smile faded, replaced by the heavy truth. How far are we willing to go to secure our future? He thought, the question nagging at him. The coffee shop buzzed with chatter. Outside, life seemed blissfully unaware of their struggles. Emily started, her brow furrowing. He could feel it deep inside, a storm brewing on the horizon. "Maybe we need to think bigger," he murmured, a spark of recklessness igniting. What if he didn't just want a job? What if he wanted more? "You mean?" she asked, hope flickering again. "Yeah," he replied, determination flashing in his eyes. "What if we step off the path altogether?" But before he could say more, Ryan's phone buzzed again, and this time it wasn't just a message, it was a call from his boss, and he knew he couldn't ignore it any longer. A choice lay before him between the life he had and the life he wanted. As he glanced at Emily, her face a mix of concern and excitement, he could only wonder, what lay beyond the call? Was it the threat of losing what he cherished most, or the chance to transform everything they'd ever dreamed of? The ringtone blared through the cozy cafe, cutting sharply through the buzz of conversation. Ryan's heart raced as he held the phone in his hand, the screen glowing ominously. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves, but Emily's eyes were fixed on him, filled with an anxious mixture of concern and support. "Are you really going to answer it?" Emily asked quietly, her hands clasped around her coffee cup. I think I have to," he stammered, feeling the weight of obligation pressing down on him. The moment stretched, thick with uncertainty, as he thought about all that was at stake: his job, their future, every dream they had just begun to outline together. With an exhale that felt like surrender, Ryan swiped to answer. "Hey, Bob," he forced himself to say, trying to inject some brightness into his voice. "Ryan," his boss replied, the tone instantly grave. "We need to talk. I can't have you dawdling here. If I don't hear from you today, this conversation will end in a way that isn't good for anyone." Ryan felt a rush of panic. The words felt like an executioner's sentence, peeling away at his bravado. "I understand," he said, rubbing the back of his neck, wishing he could disappear. Emily was watching closely now, her brows narrowed. He could see the questions gathering behind her eyes. How much could they risk? He wanted to tell Bob to shove it, to take a leap of faith, but reality had a way of grounding dreams harder than he anticipated. You have potential, Ryan, Bob continued, oblivious to the internal battle brewing. You're at a crucial point here. The opportunity could lead to something big, just think it through. Ryan's mind whirled. The dream of becoming a father, of building a life with Emily, clashed violently against the polished world of corporate success Bob represented. Yes, I'll think it over. He ended the call, tossing the phone onto the table like it was a hot coal. What did he say? Emily probed, her voice a thin thread woven with concern. He wants me to decide about the promotion by the end of the day. Ryan leaned back, defeated. It feels like I'm shackled between my old life and the hope of something real with you and our baby. Emily's expression softened as she reached across the table, her fingers brushing against his. You don't have to take the promotion just because it's there. Remember what we talked about, thinking bigger? The flame of hope flickered within him. But what if I can't find something else that pays well enough? What if I mess it all up? Each what if echoed with his fears. Ryan, she leaned in, her gaze steady. You've always been so focused on doing what's expected. What if you focused on what makes you happy? What if we faced the chaos together, instead of running from it? Her words struck a chord deep within him. The idea of confronting all their fears together brought forth an exhilaration that pushed the weight of choice aside, even if just for a moment. You really believe we can find a way? Absolutely. But the path might look different than what you've imagined. Ryan nodded slowly, considering the shifting landscape in his mind. There was a spark of recklessness that mingled with the roots of their bond. Perhaps it was time to pave a new road, one that led to the life he truly wanted. As they sipped their coffee, he found himself distracted, lost in the possibilities of what could be. Just then, his phone chimed again, pulling him from his revelry. A new message with a name he hadn't seen in years, someone from a life long left behind, and it sent shivers down his spine. Ryan, who is that? Emily's voice cut through the buzz of his thoughts. I don't know, he stammered. The name seemed haunting, a ghost of the past blotting out the dreams of the future. What if this new twist pushed him further away from what he longed for? He hesitated, fingers hovering over the screen. Maybe it's just another distraction, he whispered, heart pounding. But deep down, he feared, this could be a turning point that would redefine everything. Taking another breath, he looked into Emily's eyes. Do you really think we can build something true? Not just a job, but a life? As her smile brightened the darkening clouds of doubt, he knew whatever lay ahead would test their resolve in ways they could never expect. With fingers trembling, he finally opened the message, and his breath caught in his throat at what it revealed. What truth was waiting on the other side? The bright screen, stark against the dim cafe lighting, displayed a message that sent ripples of disbelief through Ryan. It was from Sarah, his college girlfriend, a name he hadn't uttered in years. Her words, just 2 lines of text, felt like a jolt of electricity. Ryan, I need your help. It's important. A whirlwind of emotions swirled within him. Memories rushed back, late-night talks, dreams shared, and ultimately, a messy end that left scars on both their hearts. He was torn, the weight of the past pushing against the fragile future he was trying to build with Emily. Ryan? Emily's voice cut through his daze once more, laced with curiosity and growing concern. Is it someone you know? Yeah, he replied, trying to keep his tone even. It's Sarah. The name felt heavy on his tongue, like a stone dropped into a silent pond. Emily's brow furrowed slightly, processing the name. Your ex? Ryan nodded, his heart racing. She's in trouble, or at least she says so. The sincerity in those words felt unsettling. Could he really step back into that world, even now, when he was on the brink of creating his own family? What kind of trouble? Emily asked, her interest piqued but her expression cautious. I don't know yet. I was thinking maybe I should call her. Get more details. A part of him hoped she'd discourage him, but Emily merely straightened her shoulders. Whatever it is, it's your decision. Just be careful, okay? He nodded, though the swirling chaos in his mind made his heartbeat thunder against his ribcage. Picking up his phone again, he typed a quick reply. What do you need? The seconds stretched agonizingly as he awaited her response, the cafe noise fading into a dull hum around him. Emily leaned closer, her presence grounding him as much as it drew out the fear pooling in his belly. Are you sure about this? Her voice was soft, filled with unspoken questions. Honestly? No. The confession slipped from his lips before he could catch it. But I feel like I have to know. A response pinged through, pulling him from the depths of his thoughts. It's about my father. He is sick and I need help. Can we meet? Ryan looked up at Emily, whose eyes reflected the hurt and confusion he felt. Do you want to do this? She asked gently, searching his expression for answers that felt elusive even to him. I don't know, it just feels like a lot. Sometimes life throws these unexpected things our way. Emily squeezed his hand. We can weather this as a team. Just remember what's at stake. He felt swallowed by a tidal wave of memories, regret and loyalty battling inside him. The world felt in flux, as though everything he believed was solid was shifting beneath his feet. What if reaching out to Sarah pulled him into a vortex that threatened everything he wanted with Emily? What if she's reaching out because she doesn't know what else to do? The thought clawed at him. But what do I gain from stepping back into her life? Emily leaned back. That's the question, isn't it? Ryan stared at the glow of the phone screen, the weight of that decision heavy in the air. But somewhere in there, deep down, a flicker of familiarity sparked. Would he have the courage to dig into the past if it meant finding clarity for the future? As he debated the course of action, the cafe door swung open and a wave of cold air rushed in. He glanced up, and his breath hitched again. A figure stepped in from the outside, a face from the past, one he didn't expect to see here, now. Ryan? The voice called, sharp and filled with familiarity. Is that really you? He froze, knowing that whatever came next would unravel everything he'd been trying to protect. Who was stepping into his life at this moment, and what would this new twist mean for his future with Emily? The shock surged through Ryan like a lightning bolt. He blinked, trying to grasp the reality unfolding before him. Standing in the doorway, her cheeks flushed with the cold and her eyes brimming with an energy he used to know so well, was Melissa, Sarah's younger sister. The last time he saw her was at Sarah's wedding, years ago. Melissa, he stammered, the name feeling foreign on his tongue now. Emily's reaction was immediate. She drew back slightly, her brow knitted with confusion as she surveyed this unexpected guest. You two know each other? Yeah, we were friends, Ryan replied, his voice trailing off. Melissa's presence felt like a cosmic joke, only amplifying the chaos swirling in his head. Melissa shifted, her expression shifting from surprise to urgency. I'm so glad I found you, she said, brushing away a lock of hair that had blown across her face. I really need to talk to you. It's about Sarah and Dad. Ryan felt a rush of protective instinct kick in. What's wrong with Sarah? Is it serious? Yeah. Melissa's voice trembled slightly, revealing a vulnerability that was hard to ignore. She tried reaching you to get help. But things are worse than she let on. A mix of dread and concern twitched in Ryan's stomach. He glanced at Emily, and he saw the flicker of worry etched on her features. Can we talk somewhere private? She interjected smoothly, breaking the tension gently while drawing Ryan's attention back to her. He hesitated, torn between the past that demanded his attention and the present that felt so fragile. Sure. Let us step outside. They moved to the cafe's small patio, the night air biting but fresh. The distant hum of traffic felt calming against the intensity of the moment. Tell me everything, Ryan urged, keeping his voice steady as he focused on Melissa. What's happening? Tears pooled in Melissa's eyes, cutting through the protective facade she wore. Sarah's father, he's really sick. The doctors say he doesn't have much time left. She feels lost, and she reached out to you because she thinks you can help, somehow. Ryan's heart sank. Memories of past arguments and whispers of hope intertwined with the reality of the present. Help with what? I don't know anything about that world anymore. She's scared, Ryan. And she's pregnant. The words hung in the air between them, heavy with meaning. Pregnant? Ryan repeated, the news smashing into him like a freight train. With who? Melissa's gaze softened, her eyes darting between him and the distant city lights. It's complicated. Ryan felt every muscle in his body tighten. Pregnant. Did that mean Sarah was clinging to him in desperation, as a tether to a past they both thought they had closed? And what did that mean for Emily, the life he was building? He turned to Emily, searching her face for understanding. I don't know if I can do this. I feel like I'm pulled in two directions. It's up to you, Ryan, she replied, her voice steady yet concerned. But remember what you said about wanting clarity. As Ryan tried to process everything, a sudden realization hit him. He was standing at a crossroad. Choices loomed before him, each with the power to reshape his future irrevocably. At that moment, a wave of doubt washed over him. Would his decision today alter the course of all their lives? And just when he thought the weight couldn't get heavier, his phone buzzed again, a new message lighting up the screen. Ryan, I really need to see you. His heart raced anew as he met Emily's gaze. There was so much at stake, and he knew he had to decide. Would he take the plunge into the storm of the past, or guard the precious future he had with Emily? With the crossroads rising before him, the path was murkier than ever. And he began to wonder what awaited him when he took that first step. The chill of the night air surrounded Ryan like a tangible weight, yet he felt even heavier with the turmoil brewing inside him. His heartbeat was frantic, each pulse underscoring the gravity of the situation. He looked at Melissa, her youthful features marred by worry and sorrow, and then at Emily, whose eyes mirrored her concern but also uncertainty. Ryan, Melissa said, breaking the silence that had descended. Her voice quivered but held a resolve. Sarah, she doesn't just need help, she needs someone who understands her. Someone like you. But what kind of help can I provide? I haven't been in her life for years. I was the one who walked away, he confessed, the regret weaving through his words. Memories of their last argument crept in, the fights that had torn them apart more vividly than ever. He had convinced himself it was for the best, but now it felt like a coward's retreat. You don't have to revert to anything you were before. You can be different, Melissa urged, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. She is pregnant and scared. She feels abandoned with her dad so sick, everything is collapsing around her. She needs to know she isn't alone. You were always her anchor. Ryan felt Emily's south hand softly close around his, grounding him momentarily in that storm of thoughts. He searched her face, and it was clear she was wrestling with the same dilemma, the threat of the past encroaching on their future. What happens if I decide to reach out? What if it complicates everything? The question hung in the air before them. Emily leaned closer, her expression somber yet earnest. You have to ask yourself what you truly want, Ryan. If you feel a pull towards Sarah, it might be because of unfinished business, not just between you two, but within yourself. He nodded, the truth of her words settling in. But along with that realization came the fear of hurting Emily, of disrupting the life they had begun building together. The laughter they shared, their plans, his love for her was visceral and fierce. But could he ignore the throbbing concern for Sarah? Was it fair to push aside the echoes of their past just when she was asking for help? The conflicting emotions swirled inside him like a tempest, leaving him reeling. He focused back on Melissa, who was watching him intently, eager for a response. What if I reach out and it opens old wounds? Ryan asked, vulnerability cracking his voice. What if I can't fix what's broken? Then you at least tried. And from what I know, that's more than she has right now, Melissa said, her gaze unwavering. You once meant something to her. Even if things are complicated, she needs a friend. You could be that friend. The thought resonated deep within him, yet the fear of what he might unleash kept him frozen in place. The weight of possibility bore down on his chest, making it hard to breathe. Just as he was about to share his doubts, his phone buzzed again, this time with a call. The name flashed on the screen, Sarah. The air crackled with tension, the sound of his heart pounding loud in his ears. Ryan's hand wavered over the screen, heart racing as if it was the most significant moment of his life. He caught Emily's worried glance again. Would he answer it? Would he choose the past that haunted him or the future that felt shaky, but real? Ryan swallowed hard, his decision looming like a gaping chasm ready to swallow him whole. Was he brave enough to jump? In that fleeting moment, he wondered what had Sarah been going through. What did she really want from him? Then, with trembling resolve, he swiped to answer, feeling the world around him fade away. Hello. Her voice, soft and trembling, washed over him like a wave of cold water. Sarah, he whispered, grounding himself for a conversation that could change everything yet again. And with that, he took a step into the unknown, unsure of what might receive him from the other end. Ryan, it's been a while, Sarah's voice came through, wavering slightly, a fragile lifeline stretched across the distance of their past. He could hear the weight in her tone, a bitter reminder of the choices he had made all those years ago. Yeah, it has, Ryan replied, keeping his voice steady against the flood of emotions. I didn't know who else to call, she continued. He could tell she was pulling herself together, yet the underlying tremor betrayed her fear. Things have gotten really tough. I don't know who else to turn to. As she spoke, images of their past flickered in his mind: sunshine, laughter, but also all the pain that had led to their separation. The surroundings of the cafe faded. Emily's supportive presence melted away, leaving Ryan caught in a whirlpool of conflicting emotions. What do you need, Sarah? He asked, his heart thrumming as he prepared for whatever lay ahead. My dad is really sick. I know we haven't talked in ages, but I feel like I'm losing everything. Her voice cracked, and it dug into Ryan's soul, forcing him to remember the little girl who once believed in the world. I'm terrified. And now, I'm pregnant. I don't know how to handle any of this alone. Every word sliced through him, piercing the barrier he thought he had built between their past and the present. He felt a weight press down, threatening to crush him under the enormity of the situation. Pregnant? With who? It's complicated, Ryan, she admitted, her voice trembling. But I need you right now. He glanced over at Emily, whose face mirrored the inner turmoil he felt. The warmth of their connection was still there, yet it also felt fragile, slipping through his fingers. Emily's voice broke into his thoughts, pulling him back. You don't have to do this. You've built something beautiful here with me. I know, he replied, pain slicing through him. But I can't just walk away from someone in need. We can figure this out together, Emily urged gently, her hand squeezing his reassuringly. But you have to be clear about what you want. This impacts all of us. Could he really dive back into that world with Sarah? Did he have the strength to mend that friendship, or was it just a ghost pulling him away? In that moment, he wondered if he was meant to be there for Sarah as her anchor, but was it a betrayal to all he cherished with Emily? Sarah's voice pulled him back to their conversation, desperate and raw. Please, just help me. I feel completely lost. I need someone who cares. The sincerity of her plea struck him. I'll help you, Sarah. Just tell me what you need. It was as if he had flipped a switch, setting things in motion before he could glance back at the future he was building. Emily drew in a sharp breath at his response, her concern palpable. Thank you, Sarah said, and relief washed through her words. Can we meet? I just need to talk face to face. I'm scared of everything collapsing. Okay, he replied, sensing the weight of the world shifting as decisions solidified. He looked at Emily, who watched him closely, trying to gauge his intentions. But can we still figure this out together? He asked her, searching her eyes for strength amid uncertainty. You're my priority, always. I want to support you, Ryan, Emily said, her voice steady and fierce. But we have to be honest about what this means for us. I can't be the afterthought. No, you won't be, he assured her, his heart heavy yet hopeful. No matter what, you're here, and that's what matters. The nest of emotions twisted around him even more tightly as he hung up with Sarah, his heart dangling dangerously in a space between love and obligation. He could feel the enormity of the task ahead, the one that could either split them apart or pull them closer. Are you okay? Emily asked softly, her eyes searching his face for clarity. I will be, Ryan said, drawing in a deep breath. I'm going to help her. I have to. It won't change what we have. In that fleeting moment of conviction, Ryan understood that true love wasn't just about holding on. It was also about letting go in the right moments, even when the fear of loss gnawed at his insides. He needed to be the man who could rise to the occasion, not just for Sarah, but for the life he wanted with Emily. They stood together in that moment, the promise of the future alive in the way their hands intertwined. The air grew sharper, filled with resolve and acceptance. After everything, they weren't just two lives colliding, they were crafting a shared vision that could accommodate scars from the past and sprout hope for the future. Together. As they walked out of the cafe hand in hand, Ryan felt lighter, unshackled from the burden of uncertainty. His heart still raced as he knew battles lay ahead, but for the first time, he felt ready to face them. In the warmth of the night, with Emily beside him, he whispered softly, whatever comes our way, we'll face it together. Her smile, radiant and full of understanding, was all the assurance he needed. They moved forward into the uncertain night, the sounds of the city rising around them with hope, laughter, and the promise of transformation. This was just the beginning of their story, the chance for healing, for love, and for the courage to embrace whatever the future held. Now, it's your turn to be part of this journey. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you never miss out on exclusive stories like this one. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below to share your thoughts about this ending and how it made you feel. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation, because they deserve to witness the power of love and change. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.